if I told you that one of the most intense, unpredictable, and downright chaotic games of the season didn't come from a grand final, but from this very clash between the Bulldogs and the Panthers? A game where momentum swung like a pendulum, where heroes rose and fell in the space of minutes, and where one controversial call left fans absolutely fuming. Strap in, because this wasn't just another NRL showdown. This was a war that no one saw coming. But before we dive into every shocking twist and heart-stopping moment, make sure you smash that subscribe button and join the family here on Aussie NRL Updates, the home of unfiltered breakdowns, hard-hitting highlights, and the stories the headlines don't always tell. Let's get into it. Heading into this clash, the Panthers were heavy favourites. Why wouldn't they be? Back-to-back premierships, a squad stacked with representative players, and a system that's been the envy of the entire league. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs were in a different narrative altogether, rebuilding, experimenting, trying to find an identity under pressure. Fans, commentators, even rival coaches, almost everyone expected the Panthers to bulldoze the Dogs. And yet, from the very first whistle, the tone was set. This wasn't going to be a walkover. The Bulldogs came out snarling, aggressive, and fearless. It's moments like these that remind us why we love the NRL. Because no matter how lopsided things look on paper, the game is played on grass, not spreadsheets. The Panthers barely had time to blink before the Bulldogs pulled a move straight out of the playbook of chaos. A perfectly weighted kick from the Dogs' halfback turned into a nightmare for Penrith's back three. A bobbled catch, a scramble, and suddenly, the Bulldogs were over for the first try of the game. The crowd erupted. The commentators lost their minds. The Panthers, usually so calm and composed, looked rattled. But this wasn't just about points on the board. It was psychological. The Bulldogs had drawn first blood, and in doing so, they sent a message: we are not here to make up the numbers. Now, you don't win premierships without resilience. The Panthers answered the only way they knew how, with brutal efficiency. Nathan Cleary orchestrated a set of plays that reminded everyone why he's considered one of the best game managers in modern rugby league. A short ball here, a perfectly timed pass there, and suddenly the Panthers were level. And that's where the chess match began. For every strike the Bulldogs landed, the Panthers had a counter. For every bit of flair Penrith unleashed, the Bulldogs found grit. The game wasn't just about tries. It was about territory, field position, and who could impose their will. But then came the flashpoint. The Bulldogs looked destined for another try when a high tackle stopped their winger dead in his tracks. Fans screamed for a penalty try, commentators debated furiously, and the referee waved play on. The stadium nearly shook with the roar of Bulldogs supporters who felt robbed. And here's the kicker: within minutes, the Panthers marched upfield and scored themselves. It was a moment that flipped the script. From what could have been a 12-point swing to the Bulldogs, suddenly the Panthers were ahead. And if you think that didn't light a fire under Canterbury, think again. Fueled by frustration, the Bulldogs hit back with some of their best football all season. Their forwards laid the platform, crunching into tackles, bending the Panthers' defensive line, and refusing to be bullied. And then came the highlight of the half, a dazzling backline movement that ended with their centre flying over in the corner. The crowd was electric. The Bulldogs weren't just competing, they were thriving. Halftime arrived with the scores locked tight, and you could sense it. This was anyone's game. Now, here's where things got wild. The second half wasn't just football, it was theatre. Mistakes turned into opportunities. Tries turned into momentum swings. And one superstar had a moment that will be replayed for years to come. But before we dive into the madness of the second half, remember, this is Aussie NRL Updates. If you're loving this breakdown and want more behind-the-scenes stories, exclusive insights, and every twist from the NRL world, hit that like button and share this video with your mates. Because trust me, you're not going to want to miss what happens next.